boys and girls, men and women. Weekly developer Q&A. Now this is not only a weekly developer Q&A, this is also a different video talking about races. And I got the idea from the weekly developer Q&A because we got some interesting answers. So let's start. Please can you open up hauling deliveries from ITC to all nosec NPC stations from New Eden? They can be unlocked with expert level 3, skill maybe. Higher risk, higher reward. It's a very good question, which I also would very much want. Netis Cloud says, when we update the logistic systems in the future, we will consider opening it up to nosec. That's a good answer, and I like it. And I will be sure to make a video on that. Player-owned stations need work, to be honest. Stations in defenses should be automated and require no player controlling besides keeping the station fueled. Also, a station is massive. It should have shields and armor that are massive. The fact that a single ship can come and attack the station and put it into reinforcement is silly. If this is a true PvP, it should take at least a handful of people to do such a task. Don't you think this is the case? Like they would understand. Netis Cloud says there are plans to diversify structures and structure modules for player-owned stations. I'm not actually sure what they mean by that, but it wasn't a clear no, so I think it's good. And this is the question we will talk about today. Are there any plans to add more NPC factions? Also, what is up with the inaccessible space towards the east of New Eden, the Jovian space? Netis Cloud says yes, more NPC factions are planned. Which blew my mind. Now I will read the other question first before we go into the subject. Will the market be region locked anytime in the future? As of now, everyone flocks to Yida to do their trades. Although this creates convenience, it honestly takes out the point of having other ITCs. It also takes away the opportunity for region-based traders to specialize in specific items. Hopefully this will bring some much needed fresh air in the market. And I've been talking about this in my videos too, to be able to sell region-specific items with less tax, for example, in different areas. And of course, having the region locked so you don't see all the prices all over the universe. Netis Cloud says common items such as ships, modules, ores will still be sold in the ITCs so that it is more convenient for most of the capsuleers. As for special items and related trade activities of each region, there aren't any certain plans for now. So basically, yeah, we're gonna trade in Yita and nowhere else. But let's go back to the NPC factions. And do they mean NPC race or new race that we can pick and make a new character? And I'm not alone to say that if we get a new race to pick, we would all lose our minds. And I would definitely start skilling one. But this is of course highly unlikely. They do say more NPC factions. And he replies with more NPC factions are planned. So this is probably just NPC. But let's play with a funny idea here. What we can hope is that we will get the race that have ships that we can fly, like the Mordus Legion or the SOE. But this really feel like pure NPC races. So basically stuff that we can face, like the sleepers that we already got. And to be fair, most of us directly think of Yan Yang. This is the race kinda invented by Netis, kinda, and it's been lost since the beginning. This is not a race we can pick yet. But we did get a destroyer, and we did get a battlecruiser. We are still missing the ominous battleship and the capital ship that they have shown in their videos. They almost seems like a myth. But do they really referring to this race? I mean, we already got it, right? I have to say that it's likely that this is what they mean, but they are fooling us a little bit with that statement. They're trying to give us hope so that we stay just a little bit longer. But what if? Let's see what's most likely. We got the Jove, the mystery race. They have a highly advanced technology, but they are not as strong as they used to be. You could say that they had their issues a couple of times before and 2 big wars among themselves, and that made them what they are today. You can find the Jove space on our map, but it's still not open for public. And it's still not open in EVE Online either, and probably never will. The ships that we have seen are quite exotic, with a mix of Galantis, alien type of style. I think it's both very unlikely and quite likely that we get this. The reason for being likely is because it could mean a ton of work. And basically, they would have to reinvent everything from scratch, since we don't know much about their possibilities. But their ship seems very powerful. And the reason this would be a likely candidate is because they got no clue of the game. And they see this empty space already in the game, so they might go for that. But then again, there's also the Dronelands that is also closed for us in ECHOES. So why not talk about the rogue drones? Because this is Galente's fault. You see, Galente developed a strong AI drone technology and then just said fuck it. These drones, just like Skynet, raced against its maker and left to Dronelands. And introducing them would be a possibility, to be fair. We would not be able to fly the ships, but adding them would give us much more space and possibly new materials, since rogue drones do not have a bounty, nor do they have traditional loot. They most likely have some minerals as a drop. So, mining in Dronelands has a new meaning. We then also have the Triglavians. This is an ancient human civilization. They're cool as fuck. These are not capsuleers like us, so you know they get balls of steel. They only got one life. They used to live in the abyssal dead space, but did break out from that in EVE Online during an expansion. I can't remember which one. But they broke loose and they harassed players both in low sec and high sec, disable stargates and attack structures and players. If we do get this race, we will get some new ships. And we will get the abyssal items. And the ability to modify items up and down by 30% or so. There would be 3 types of modifications. One low tier that can change stats 10% up and down. One middle modification that would change it around like 20%. And one more rare one that changed the items 30% up and down. And this is by chance, I have to add. This is a very cool feature that basically makes you take a dead space item and hoping to get an even more powerful one. Or you brick it, basically making it useless. The reason for adding this would be much that this already exists in EVE Online. And adding the metaphysics for gambling items is something that NetEase would love. The reason not to bring this would be that they still have not introduced Yang yet. And it's very likely that they will be added before the Triglavians. Otherwise, this would have been a really big thing if we got it. New ships, new enemies, and more items. And then we got the Drifters. This is also ancient, but it's an Jovian race. We do not know much about them, but we do know that they use sleeper technology. And we have seen sleepers already, so I bet that we will get this at one point. There is an Amarian group of people that is quite unknown. They're called the Equilibrium of Mankind, and it's an Amarian doomsday cult. It would be what I would call a sub-race, or just a different empire like the Mordu's Legion, I don't know. I'm getting into some weird suggestions that, frankly, is very unlikely. But what do you guys think? Tell me in the comments. I personally really do hope that we see the Triglavians or the rogue drones, but to make it clear, we would not be able to create those races, just fly their ships and maybe fight them. Except the rogue drones, we cannot fly those. Even though NetEase could make something really cool and let us actually do this, giving us new races would actually increase the longevity of the game, and that would be a big step towards something I would support. But I think they are referring to Yang. And I see you guys again.